San Diego is California's second largest city, with a population of 1.3 million people in the city proper and almost 3 million residents throughout the county. San Diego is renowned for its idyllic climate and is a major tourist destination. About 32 million people come to San Diego each year, not only for its wonderful weather but also for its rich history, making San Diego a great vacation spot and a great place to live. San Diego, which began life with the Native American Kumeyaay Indians and grew when the European landed in San Diego's Bay in 1542, formed the basis of what San Diego is today. At the center of this steadily growing town was the Mission San Diego de Alcala. The mission was a Franciscan mission founded in 1769 alongside the San Diego Presidio on a bluff in Old Town San Diego. However, the Spanish met heavy resistance from the native Kumeyaay Indians, and the settlers barely survived the first few months, so permanent structures could not be built until 1773. Unfortunately, more hardships followed, and eventually a lack of dependable water supply, as well as the close proximity of the military forces of the Presidio, forced the mission's relocation to a spot several miles up the river, where it remains today. Finally, the mission was able to begin its quest to convert the natives to the Catholic religion. In just 1 year, there were 431 conversions. The mission helped convince the Mexican government to establish the town of San Diego as a permanent settlement. The Mission San Diego de Alcala is among the most important historical sites in the city. It is the purpose for the city's creation, as well as the embodiment of the spirit of the brave settlers that helped to found it.
The Missions was founded in 1769, but due to hardships by the Kumeyaay Indians and the lack of water, it wasn't actually built until 1773. And it's very important to San Diego because it does show our multicultural history.
Even though it is such a large city today, even San Diego had its own humble beginning. Old Town is a neighborhood near current-day Mission Bay that was the location of the first settlement in San Diego, as well as the first European settlement in California. In 1769, the San Diego Presidio was founded on top of the bluff in Old Town by Gaspar de Portola and Junipero Serra of Spain. The Presidio was the first permanent settlement in San Diego and the original location of the Mission San Diego de Alcala. The Spaniards had settled in the area, trying to convert the Kumeyaay Indians in the area to Catholicism, and because of this Catholic influence, the settlement was named San Diego after Saint Didacus of Spain. By the 1820s, San Diego had begun to grow up at the base of the bluff in the area now marked by the Old Town State Historic Park, and in 1834 was given Pueblo, or town status, by the Mexican government. San Diego remained confined to the Old Town area until California was admitted to the United States in 1850. The Old Town State Historic Park is important to the town's history, commemorating San Diego's founding as well as its Spanish heritage.
Well, Old Town San Diego is basically the first settlement in what is now present-day California. Those of us here would like to claim it as the birthplace of California. But obviously, it's where you have the first mission in 1769. And then, so you have the Spanish settlement, and it becomes a Mexican Pueblo. And then by 1847, it actually becomes an American frontier town. So basically, you have all three unique stages here, but ultimately, the big importance is that it's the first settlement of early San Diego.
Okay, and how is it important to San Diego?
Well, it's important because obviously it's good to know where the town first came from, what the history was, and then it's very unique because San Diego, obviously we have that very much the Spanish-Mexican culture and heritage, which even today is still very important. And it's good to know that that's actually where the foundation was and then how that intermixes with us today.
San Diego began to grow, residents began to look towards creating means for entertainment and recreation. Balboa Park began life as a plot of land near present-day downtown San Diego, set aside by the local authorities for public recreational use. After California became a part of the United States, a small piece of this land was preserved for use as a public park. The park did not see much development until 1909, when a World's Fair was planned to coincide with the opening of the Panama Canal in 1915. The purpose of the expo was to promote commerce and improve the growing city's notoriety. Most of the buildings standing in the park today were a result of the preparations for this event. In a 1910 competition to name the park, the winning name was Balboa Park, after Vasco Núñez de Balboa, who was the first explorer to cross South America and see the Pacific Ocean. The Spanish colonial revival style of the architecture for the expo was well received by the public, and the park became a beloved part of the city. Balboa Park is important for remembering how San Diego came to be the large city that it is today.
We have people, there's no other place in the United States like this.
In the world.
In the world?
No other country has an organization
We had to move out, what date?
during the war.
During the war.
During like World War I or World War II.
Two.
The two.
The
Because-
Navy moved in
The Navy moved
and
into
lived in
Balboa.
these cottages.
Oh, they did?
These cottages built in 1935, temporary, and
Oh.
they still exist.
There was
Wow.
Frank Dugan is the one, he's Irish, and he's the one that talked to me into keeping them.
So they were military housing?
No, not originally.
No, they were
No.
built just like they are
This.
now. They
Yeah.
were built during the Panama.
Expedition.
Yeah, that's when they were built.
Oh, when
Then
they
when
moved
the
into
war
Panama.
came along, they needed places for some of these officers to live, and that's what happened.
The growth of San Diego was helped along by many different kinds of people. One of the groups of people that had come to San Diego was a group of Mormons or Latter-day Saints. Being the first religious base unit of the Army, about 500 men volunteered to help fight in the Mexican-American War, marching more than 2,000 miles from Council Bluffs, Iowa to San Diego, helping with the Mexican-American War, training on several locations over Southern California, and finally landing in San Diego as the war came to a close. They built the first brick courthouse for San Diego and became friends with the natives. Though they never had to fight in the war, they paved the way for wagons and also made it easier for people to travel to the city. They also helped the United States secure a lot of the Southwest, including new lands in several western states, even the Gadsden Purchase. Bringing San Diego together with a group of 500 men also brings up San Diego to what it is today.
Norma Battalion were a group of approximately 500 men that were recruited to be in the infantry in Iowa and walked to California during the Mexican-American War. They were here to fight in California to win the country over to the United States.
Okay. How is it important to San Diego?
It took them 6 months to get here, so they still had 6 months left in their enlistment. Company B was assigned to San Diego, approximately 100 men, and many of them knew how to make bricks. They fired over 40,000 bricks while they were here. They built the courthouse, which is down in Old Town. They built many other buildings. They helped the citizens. In fact, San Diego at that time was roughly 200 people surrounding Old Town, surrounding the plaza there. At the end of their enlistment, they petitioned the governor and the U.S. military to get the battalion members to re-enlist because they found out that they had helped the growth of the city so much they didn't want them to leave. So 82 of them did re-enlist for another 6 months and they stayed to March 8th.
Because San Diego was still controlled by Mexico, it would not become a part of the United States without a fight. The Battle of San Pasqual during the Mexican-American War was a battle fought right here in San Diego. One of the bloodiest battles in the war, it was fought in the San Pasqual Valley on December 6, 1849. General S.W. Kearny led against Captain A. Pico's Californios in this battle. Even though the United States had greater losses, both sides claimed victory. The Kumeyaay people say that the American losses would have been greater without their help, and that San Diego would not be anywhere without the help of our San Diegan ancestors.
So, do you know the historical significance of this valley area?
I believe so. There was a battle fought here. I think it was the San Pasqual battle.
Yes, it was. Do you know what battle that what battle that it was fought in? Like what war it was in?
The war, I believe, was the Mexican-American War.
Yes, it was. Do you know what what we gained from that war?
I believe that we gained the southwestern states like California, Arizona,